I joked about him being my second choice. Now he's my ex-husband. I'm sitting alone at our kitchen table, the one Nathan and I picked out 3 years ago from that overpriced furniture store downtown. My fingers trace the wood grain as I stare at the divorce papers in front of me. They're official now. The manila envelope they came in lies torn open beside my half-empty wine glass. It's my third glass tonight, but who's counting anymore? I think, how did I get here? How did one stupid joke destroy everything we built together? My chest tightens as I remember the smug look on Nathan's new girlfriend's face at the courthouse last week, the way she squeezed his arm possessively when she saw me, the way he looked at her. He used to look at me like that. But I should start from the beginning. 6 months ago, I'm standing in our dining room, setting out wine glasses for our anniversary dinner. 5 years of marriage. Not perfect, but solid. At least that's what I thought. The table looks beautiful with the fancy plates my mother gave us as a wedding gift and the flowers Nathan brought home that morning. I adjust the centerpiece for the third time and check my phone. Our friends will arrive any minute. I feel a flutter of excitement in my stomach. These dinner parties are my thing. I love being the center of attention, making everyone laugh, creating moments. Nathan walks in wearing that blue button-down shirt that brings out his eyes. He looks good. He always does in a clean, dependable way. Nothing flashy, nothing that turns heads when we walk into a room, but handsome in that steady, reliable way that used to comfort me. "Everything looks great, Liv," he says, coming up behind me and kissing my cheek. I flinch slightly, not because I don't want his affection, but because I'm focused on making sure everything is perfect. "Thanks," I mutter, moving away to straighten a napkin that doesn't need straightening. He stands there for a moment and I can feel him watching me. I think, why is he just standing there? Can't he see I'm busy? The doorbell rings and I immediately brighten. "They're here," I announce, rushing to the door, leaving Nathan behind me. Our friends file in. Megan and Josh, Kate and David, and Sam and her new boyfriend Tyler. Everyone's laughing, hugging, handing over bottles of wine and small gifts. Nathan takes coats and pours drinks while I hold court in the living room, already telling a story about the disaster at work last week. I notice Nathan watching me from across the room as I gesture wildly, making everyone laugh. He's smiling, but there's something in his eyes I choose to ignore. I think, he's always so quiet at these things. Why can't he loosen up more? 2 hours later, we're all seated around the dining table. The food is amazing. I spent all day cooking, and we're on our third bottle of wine. I'm feeling warm and confident, the center of attention as usual. "So," Kate asks, raising her glass, "5 years. What's your secret?" Nathan smiles that gentle smile of his. "Patience," he says, looking at me with genuine affection, and knowing I found the right person. I should have smiled back. I should have said something sweet. Instead, I laugh a little too loudly and roll my eyes. "Well, he wasn't exactly my first choice," I say, the wine making my tongue loose. "Remember Mark from college?" I ask Kate, who nods uncomfortably. "God, I was obsessed with that guy for years. When he finally moved to Seattle with that blonde, what was her name?" I was devastated. The table has gone quiet, but I don't notice. I reach for Nathan's hand across the table, giving it a patronizing pat. But it worked out. Nathan here was patient, like he said, waited for me to get over my heartbreak, swooped in as second choice, and here we are. I laugh again, taking another sip of wine. I think I'm being charming, self-deprecating even. I think I'm entertaining our friends. Then I look up and see Nathan's face. His smile is gone. His eyes, those kind blue eyes, look hollow. He's staring at me like he's seeing me for the first time, and I can tell immediately that I've crossed a line I didn't even know was there. The silence around the table is deafening. "Nathan," I say, suddenly realizing my mistake. "I'm kidding. Everyone knows how much I love you." But he's already standing up, placing his napkin beside his half-eaten meal. "Excuse me," he says quietly. "I need some air." As he walks out of the dining room, I feel a chill run through me. I look around at our friends, expecting them to laugh it off with me, but they're all avoiding my eyes. "What?" I say defensively. "It was a joke. He knows that." Megan shakes her head slightly. "Olivia, that was pretty harsh." "Oh, come on," I say, feeling heat rise to my cheeks. "It's our anniversary. We're celebrating our marriage. Obviously, I love him." Sam looks down at her plate. Maybe you should go talk to him. He's fine, I insist, pouring more wine into my glass. He'll be back in a minute. He's just being sensitive. But Nathan doesn't come back to the table. The dinner continues awkwardly, conversation stilted and forced. I keep glancing toward the hallway, expecting him to return, but he doesn't. An hour later, our friends are making excuses to leave early. I'm standing at the door, hugging everyone goodbye, still insisting everything is fine. He probably just went to bed early, I tell them, though I know it's not true. He had a long week at work. After they leave, I find Nathan sitting on the edge of our bed, still fully dressed, staring at the wall. His shoulders are slumped in a way I've never seen before. Hey, I say, leaning against the doorframe. What was that about? You embarrassed me in front of everyone. He looks up at me, and the hurt in his eyes is so raw that I almost take a step back. I embarrassed you? He asks quietly. I cross my arms. Yes, running off like that in the middle of dinner. What's the big deal? It was just a stupid joke. Nathan shakes his head slowly. A joke, he repeats. Is that what our marriage is to you? A consolation prize because Mark didn't want you? I roll my eyes, frustrated that he's making such a big deal about this. Oh my God, Nathan, it was just something stupid I said. You know I love you. Do I? He asks, and the question hangs in the air between us. I throw my hands up. You're being ridiculous. It was a joke. Joke. Everyone was laughing. No, he says softly. No one was laughing, Olivia. He stands up then, grabs a pillow from the bed, and walks past me. Where are you going? I demand. I'm sleeping in the guest room tonight. Seriously? You're going to pout about a joke? He pauses in the hallway but doesn't turn around. It wasn't the joke, Liv. It was the truth behind it. Before I can respond, he disappears into the guest bedroom, closing the door firmly behind him. I stand there, shocked and angry. I think he's overreacting. He'll get over it by morning. I was wrong. The next morning, I'm in the kitchen, aggressively stirring pancake batter. I've decided to make Nathan's favorite breakfast as a peace offering, though I'm still irritated that he's making such a big deal about my stupid comment. I hear him moving around upstairs, getting ready for work. I think he'll come down, see I'm making his favorite, and everything will go back to normal. When he finally appears in the kitchen doorway, he looks tired, like he hasn't slept. He's wearing his gray suit, the one I picked out for him last Christmas, but his tie is slightly crooked. I resist the urge to fix it. Morning, I say brightly. I'm making pancakes, blueberry, your favorite. Nathan glances at the stove, then at me. I'm not hungry, he says. I need to get to work early. I put down the spatula, turning to face him. Come on, Nathan. Are you still mad about last night? It was nothing. He stares at me for a long moment. That's the problem, Olivia. To you, it was nothing. To me, he shakes his head. I don't want to fight. I'll see you tonight. He turns to leave, and I feel a flash of panic. This isn't going according to plan. He's supposed to accept my non-apology and move on. Wait, I call out. You're seriously still upset about this? It was a joke. Nathan stops but doesn't turn around. His shoulders rise and fall with a deep breath. It wasn't a joke to me, he says quietly. And the fact that you can't see why it hurt me, he shakes his head again. That's what I'm thinking about today. Then he's gone, the sound of the front door closing echoing through our house. I stand in the kitchen, the pancakes burning on the stove. I think he's making this such a big deal. Why can't he just let it go? I scrape the burnt pancakes into the trash and pull out my phone to text Kate. Nathan's being so dramatic about last night. Can you believe it? Her response comes an hour later, and it's not what I expect. Honestly, Liv, that comment was pretty hurtful. I'm not surprised he's upset. I stare at my phone in disbelief. At 2, Kate? I text back. It was a joke. Everyone knows I love Nathan. Her reply makes my stomach twist. Do we? Because it didn't sound like a joke. It sounded like something you've thought about a lot. I throw my phone down on the counter. Why is everyone being so sensitive? It was just a stupid comment made after too much wine. Over the next few days, Nathan becomes a ghost in our home. He's physically present, but emotionally absent. He comes home late from work, eats dinner in silence, and goes to bed early, still in the guest room. When I try to talk to him, he gives short, polite answers, but his eyes are distant. I vacillate between anger and concern. One moment I'm furious that he's punishing me for something so trivial. The next, I'm worried that I've genuinely hurt him, but my pride prevents me from offering a real apology. A week after the dinner party, I'm standing in our bathroom, brushing my teeth before bed. Nathan walks past the open door without looking in. I spit into the sink and call out to him, "Are we ever going to talk about this? Or are you just going to keep ignoring me forever?" He pauses, then steps back into view, leaning against the doorframe. "What do you want to talk about, Olivia?" "This, us." "You've been avoiding me for a week over one stupid comment." Nathan's eyes meet mine in the mirror. "It wasn't just the comment," he says. "It was a revelation." I turn to face him, exasperated. "A revelation? Don't be so dramatic." His expression doesn't change. "Do you remember what you said when I proposed?" The question catches me off guard. "What? That was years ago." "You said, 'I guess so,'" he reminds me. "I was on one knee and you said, 'I guess so,' like I'd asked if you wanted takeout for dinner." I feel my defenses rising. I said, "Yes, we got married, didn't we?" "You did," he acknowledges. "But I think I've been your 'I guess so' all along. Your second choice. The safe option." "That's not true," I protest, but there's a hollow feeling in my chest because maybe, just maybe, there's some truth to what he's saying. "Isn't it?" he asks quietly. "How many times have you compared me to other men? How often do you point out what I'm not? Not exciting enough, not ambitious enough, not spontaneous enough." I open my mouth to deny it, but the words stick in my throat because I can hear my own voice in my head making those exact comparisons. "I thought I could be enough," Nathan continues. "I thought if I loved you enough, was patient enough, supportive enough, you'd eventually see me, really see me." "I do see you," I whisper, but even to my own ears, it sounds unconvincing. He shakes his head sadly. "No, Olivia, you see what I'm not. You've never seen what I am." With that, he turns and walks away, leaving me staring at my own reflection, mascara smudged under eyes that suddenly look lost. 2 weeks after our anniversary dinner, I'm sitting in our favorite coffee shop downtown, waiting for Megan. It's Saturday morning, and the place is bustling with weekend energy. I fidget with my latte, rehearsing what I'll say. I need someone on my side. Megan arrives, unwrapping her scarf as she slides into the seat across from me. Her smile seems forced. "Hey," she says, setting down her bag. "How are you?" I lean forward eagerly. "Not great. Nathan's still being distant. I don't know what to do." Megan orders a coffee, then turns back to me with a serious expression. "Have you apologized?" "Like, really apologized." I roll my eyes. "For what? Making a joke? This is getting ridiculous." Megan sighs, and I can tell she's choosing her words carefully. "Liv, it wasn't just a joke. You basically told everyone, including your husband, that he was your backup plan." "That's not what I meant," I insist. "Maybe not," she says, "but that's how it came across. And from what Josh tells me, Nathan's really hurt." I blink in surprise. "Josh? You guys have been talking to Nathan?" Megan looks uncomfortable. "He had drinks with the guys last night." I feel a stab of betrayal. "And I wasn't invited? We always do Friday night drinks together." "Nathan asked if he could join, just the guys this time," she admits. "He needed to talk." My cheeks burn with humiliation. "So everyone's talking about us? About me?" "It's not like that," Megan says, but I can tell she's lying. "Look, Nathan's a good guy. He loves you. But that comment, it confirmed something he's been afraid of for a long time." "Which is that you settled for him," she says bluntly, "that you've never been fully invested in your marriage." I sit back, stung by her words. "That's not true." "Isn't it?" she challenges. "How often do you put him first, Liv? When was the last time you bragged about him instead of complaining? When did you last show him you're proud to be his wife?" I open my mouth to defend myself, but the examples don't come. Instead, I remember all the times I've laughed at Nathan's expense, dismissed his ideas, or compared him unfavorably to other men. "I love him," I say, but it sounds weak even to me. "Then you need to show him," Megan says, "and not with pancakes or sex or whatever surface level fix you're planning. You need to see what you've been doing and genuinely change it." I feel tears welling up in my eyes, a mixture of anger and shame. "You're supposed to be my friend." "I am your friend," she says firmly. "That's why I'm telling you the truth. Everyone else is talking behind your back." That night, I'm curled up on the couch when Nathan comes home later than usual. I look up from the book I haven't really been reading. "Hey, I say cautiously. Where have you been? At Josh and Megan's, he replies, hanging up his jacket. We had dinner. I feel a fresh wave of hurt. I wasn't invited? Nathan looks at me directly for the first time in days. No, you weren't. The bluntness of his response startles me. This isn't the Nathan I know, the one who smooths things over, who avoids conflict at all costs. Is this how it's going to be now? I ask, my voice rising. You're just going to exclude me from our friends? They're my friends too, he says calmly. And right now I need space to think. Think about what? I demand, standing up to face him. He runs a hand through his hair, a gesture I've always found endearing, but now seems like a sign of his frustration with me. About us, he says, about whether this is working anymore. The floor seems to shift beneath me. What are you saying? I'm saying, he replies slowly, that I'm tired of feeling like I'm not enough, like I'm your consolation prize. This is still about that stupid joke? I ask incredulously. No, he says, the joke just made everything clear. This has been building for years. I feel panic rising in my chest. This can't be happening. Nathan is steady, reliable. He doesn't rock the boat. You're overreacting, I say. We're fine. We've always been fine. Fine isn't enough for me anymore, he says quietly. I want someone who's excited to be with me, who's proud to be my wife, who doesn't make me feel like I'm her second choice. I step toward him, desperate now. I am proud to be your wife. I do love you. He looks at me with such sadness that I stop in my tracks. Then why does it feel like you've spent 5 years trying to change me into someone else? Someone more like Mark, maybe? The name hits me like a slap. That's not fair, isn't it? He asks. How many times have you compared us? How often have you pointed out what I lack that he had? I want to deny it, but the truth is I have made those comparisons, sometimes out loud, more often in my head. I've held Nathan up against an idealized memory and found him wanting, even while he's been steadfastly loving me. I'm going to stay with Josh for a while, he says. I need time to think. You're leaving? My voice breaks. This is moving too fast. Nathan, please, we can work this out. He shakes his head. I've been trying to work it out for years, Olivia. I can't be the only one fighting for us anymore. He turns and walks upstairs. I follow him, watching in stunned silence as he packs a bag. How long? I ask, my arms wrapped around myself. I don't know, he answers honestly. I just know I can't be here right now. When he leaves, the sound of the door closing behind him echoes through the house like a funeral bell. 1 month later, I'm sitting at my desk at work, staring blankly at my computer screen. I haven't slept well in weeks. Nathan is still staying at Josh's, and our communication has been limited to practical matters: bills, mail, scheduling times when he can come by the house to pick up more of his things. My phone buzzes with a text from Kate. Lunch today? I respond with a quick yes. I've been avoiding our friends, embarrassed by the situation and afraid of whose side they're on. But I'm lonely, and I need to talk to someone. At the restaurant, Kate hugs me tightly before we sit down. You look tired, she says, concern in her eyes. I attempt a laugh that comes out more like a sob. That's a nice way of saying I look like hell. How are you holding up? She asks. I shrug, trying to maintain my composure. Not great. Nathan's still at Josh's. He's barely talking to me. Kate nods sympathetically. Have you guys discussed what happens next? No, I admit. I keep thinking he'll come home and we'll figure it out. But it's been a month and... My voice trails off. And? She prompts gently. And I'm starting to realize he might not come back, I whisper. The waiter arrives to take our order, giving me a moment to collect myself. After he leaves, Kate leans forward. Liv, I need to tell you something, and I'm not sure how. My stomach drops. What is it? She takes a deep breath. Nathan came to Sam's birthday party last weekend. I feel a stab of hurt. I didn't know about the party. I know, she says apologetically. Sam thought it might be awkward with everything going on. So all our friends were there except me? I ask, the hurt deepening. Most of them, she admits, but that's not what I needed to tell you. I brace myself. What then? Nathan brought someone with him, Kate says, watching me carefully. A woman named Rachel. They work together. The restaurant seems to blur around me. Are you saying he's dating someone? I don't know if they're officially dating, Kate says, but they seemed close. I feel like I've been punched in the stomach. He's moved on already? It's been a month. Kate reaches for my hand. I don't think this is new, Liv. Not the friendship, anyway. He talked about how she's been supporting him through this difficult time. While I've been sitting at home waiting for him to come back, I say bitterly. I'm sorry, Kate says. I thought you should know. The food arrives, but I've lost my appetite. I push the salad around my plate, trying to process this new information. Did he look happy? I ask finally, hating how pathetic I sound. Kate hesitates. He looked different, more confident, maybe. He was laughing a lot. I think back to the last time I heard Nathan laugh genuinely with me. It's been months, maybe longer. The realization makes me feel hollow. What happened to us, Kate? I ask, my voice small. We were supposed to be forever. She looks at me with sad eyes. I think, and please don't get defensive, but I think you stopped seeing him. The real him. What do you mean? You were always trying to change him, she says carefully. Make him more outgoing, more ambitious, more like Mark, I finish for her. She nods. You never seemed satisfied with who Nathan actually was, and that joke at your anniversary dinner, it just confirmed what he probably suspected all along, that he wasn't your first choice. I sit with her words, letting their truth wash over me. I think about all the times I've made Nathan feel less than, all the comparisons I've drawn, all the ways I've failed to appreciate the man I married. I do love him, I say, tears spilling down my cheeks. I know you do, Kate says gently. But sometimes love isn't enough if there's no respect alongside it. That night, I'm lying in our bed, my bed now, staring at the ceiling. The house feels cavernous without Nathan's presence. I reach for my phone and scroll through old photos of us. There we are on our honeymoon, both sunburned and laughing. At his office Christmas party, his arm around my waist. Building our back deck together, covered in sawdust. In every picture, he's looking at me with such warmth, such genuine love. And in most of them, I'm looking somewhere else. I think, how did I not see what I had? How did I not cherish this man who loved me so completely? For the first time, I allow myself to face the truth. I've been the problem all along. Not Nathan. Me. 3 months after Nathan moved out, I'm standing in our kitchen, my kitchen now, staring at the divorce papers he's just handed me. He's sitting across from me, looking more relaxed than I've seen him in years. He's lost weight, started working out. His hair is different. He seems free. It's pretty straightforward, he says, his voice gentle but firm. I'm not asking for anything unreasonable. The house is yours. We split the savings. No alimony either way. I look down at the papers, the legal jargon swimming before my eyes. This agreement made between Olivia Marie Carter and Nathan James Carter. This is really happening, I say, more to myself than to him. Yes, he confirms. I think it's for the best. I look up at him, searching for any sign of doubt, any flicker of the love that used to shine so clearly in his eyes. But all I see is resolution. Is it because of her? I ask, unable to stop myself. Rachel? Nathan sighs. No, Olivia, it's not because of Rachel or anyone else. It's because we weren't good together, not in the ways that matter. We could try counseling, I suggest desperately. People fix marriages all the time. I don't want to fix this one, he says, and the finality in his voice makes me flinch. I deserve more than being someone's second choice. You weren't my second choice, I protest, but even as the words leave my mouth, I know they're not entirely true. Maybe not consciously, but in 100 small ways, I've made Nathan feel like he was never quite enough. Sign the papers, Liv, he says quietly. Let's both move on. I pick up the pen he's laid on the table, but I can't make myself sign yet. Are you happy? I ask, needing to know. With her? He meets my eyes steadily. I'm happy with myself, he says. For the first time in years, I'm living the life I want, not trying to be someone I'm not to make you happy. The truth of his words hits me hard. I've spent our entire relationship trying to mold Nathan into my ideal, never appreciating the wonderful man he already was. I'm sorry, I whisper, and for once I truly mean it. I didn't see what I had until it was gone. I know, he says, and there's no satisfaction in his voice, just acceptance. That's why I need to go. I sign the papers, my hand shaking slightly. As I slide them back across the table, I feel something final breaking inside me. Nathan stands, tucking the papers into his messenger bag, a new one I've never seen before. Another reminder of how his life has continued without me. Take care of yourself, Olivia, he says, and then he's gone. I sit at the table long after he leaves, the house silent around me. I think, this is my life now, empty rooms and regrets. 6 months after the divorce is finalized, I'm standing in line at the coffee shop where Nathan and I used to meet for breakfast on Saturdays. I haven't been here since before our separation, too many memories, but I'm trying to reclaim pieces of my old life. I'm scrolling through my phone when I hear a familiar laugh. I look up, and there he is, Nathan, sitting at a corner table with a woman I recognize from his company photos. Rachel. She's pretty in an understated way, with kind eyes and a warm smile. She's laughing at something he's said, her hand resting comfortably on his. Nathan looks happy, relaxed. The tension he always carried in his shoulders when we were together is gone. He's gesturing animatedly as he talks, fully engaged in their conversation. I feel a sharp pang of loss, not just for Nathan, but for what we could have had if I'd been a better wife. If I'd valued what was in front of me instead of constantly looking elsewhere. I consider slipping out before they notice me, but then Nathan looks up and our eyes meet. A brief flash of surprise crosses his face, followed by a small, polite smile. He gives me a little wave, which I return awkwardly. Rachel turns to see who he's waving at. When she realizes it's me, she doesn't look smug or territorial. She simply smiles and nods in acknowledgement before turning back to Nathan. I pay for my coffee and hurry out, not ready for a closer encounter. Outside, I take a deep breath of the crisp autumn air, trying to steady myself. My phone buzzes with a text from Kate. Ladies' night tonight? We miss you. I hesitate before replying. After the divorce, many of our mutual friends drifted toward Nathan, not because they took sides exactly, but because I withdrew, embarrassed by my failure and unwilling to face their judgment, real or imagined. Count me in, I type back. It's time to stop hiding. That evening, I'm in my apartment, a small one-bedroom I moved into after selling our house. The proceeds paid off my student loans and gave me a fresh start, though I still miss the home we built together. I'm getting ready for ladies' night, applying mascara in the bathroom mirror when I catch sight of my reflection. I look different now, thinner, more serious. The divorce has aged me, or maybe it's the weight of regret I carry. I think I'll never make that mistake again. If I'm lucky enough to find love again, I'll cherish it properly. At the restaurant, Megan, Kate, and Sam welcome me with warm hugs. There's an initial awkwardness as we navigate around the elephant in the room, but after a glass of wine, conversation begins to flow more naturally. How are you really doing? Sam asks during a lull. I consider giving my standard answer, I'm fine, but decide on honesty instead. I'm learning, I say, about myself, mostly, and none of it is particularly flattering. Megan reaches over to squeeze my hand. That's called growth, honey. It hurts, but it's good. I saw Nathan today, I admit, with Rachel. The table goes quiet. They exchange glances, and I can tell they already knew about the relationship. They're serious, aren't they? I ask. Kate nods reluctantly. They moved in together last month. The news shouldn't hurt. The divorce is final after all, but it does. Not because I want Nathan back, but because I'm facing the consequences of my actions in real time. He deserves to be happy, I say, and I mean it, even through the pain. I just wish I had realized what I had before I lost it. What would you have done differently? Sam asks gently. I take a sip of wine, considering her question carefully. Everything, I say finally. I would have appreciated him for who he was instead of trying to change him. I would have made him feel like my first choice every day, not my consolation prize. I would have been grateful for his steadiness instead of finding it boring. It's the most honest I've been, with my friends and with myself. The worst part, I continue, is that I truly did love him. I just didn't know how to love him well. Maybe that's your lesson from all this, Megan suggests. For next time. Next time, I repeat with a hollow laugh. I'm not sure there will be a next time, and if there is, I'm not sure I deserve it. Everyone deserves a second chance, Kate says firmly. The question is whether you've learned enough to do better. I think about Nathan and Rachel, about the easy way they were together this morning. I think about all the ways I undermined my marriage, all the times I made Nathan feel less than. I think about that fateful anniversary dinner, when one careless joke brought all our problems to the surface. I say, and for the first time in months, I feel something like hope, not for reconciliation with Nathan, that ship has sailed, but for my own future, for the possibility of loving better next time. Today, I'm sitting alone at my kitchen table, staring at the divorce papers. They're official now. There's a finality to seeing them here in black and white that makes my chest ache. I pour another glass of wine, my third of the evening, and let the tears fall freely. I've lost the best man I ever knew because I was too blind to see his worth, because I made him feel like a consolation prize when he should have been my greatest treasure. The title ex-husband seems so cold, so formal for someone who was once the center of my world, but I realize now that he was never truly the center. My own ego was. My needs, my desires, my comparisons. I think I joked about him being my second choice, and now he's chosen someone else, someone who appreciates him for exactly who he is. The irony is bitter, but the lesson is clear. Love isn't about finding the perfect person, it's about seeing the perfection in an imperfect person. It's about choosing them every day, not just on your wedding day. It's about respect and appreciation and genuine delight in who they are, not who you wish they would be. Nathan taught me that, though I learned it too late to save us. I run my fingers over his signature on the divorce papers, tracing the letters of the name I once shared. Then I carefully return the papers to their envelope and put them away. Tomorrow, I'll begin the process of building a new life, one where I carry this hard-won wisdom with me, one where I never again take love for granted or treat someone's heart carelessly. Because some lessons you learn the hard way, and this one cost me everything. I wipe away my tears and look around the empty kitchen. The silence is deafening, but in it, I can finally hear the truth. I was never Nathan's second choice. He was all in from the beginning. I was the one who never fully chose him. And that's a regret I'll have to live with forever.